Nice development.
Yeah, so we'll start picking up that everywhere or something. And if they're really close, we'll just be chopping
This is Chris Lavin from New Creek Surgeons in Deerfield Beach, Florida. I'm here with Dan today, and we are at the Benoit residence as we are going to be doing a epoxy coating system, which Dan's going to tell us about.
What we're doing is 100% solid, self-leveling industrial epoxy coating over the existing garage floor, which has already been prepped by the New Creek Surgeons. They used a machine, surface preparation machine that is connected to a power vac to prevent all the dust in the air. And the surface is ready now for the actual coating. And as we proceed, I will stop and do steps of what I'm doing and explain.
So the first thing we're going to do obviously is go over and we're going to mix up the batch.
Right, I mean, you can film that as I'm doing it.
All right, cool.
Just
All right, well, let's go and have some fun.
Of the epoxy job when you're ready to coat is a proper mix. If you make a wrong mix, if you mix the ingredients wrong, this is pre-measured. So this one automatically is measured, so it's gonna be perfect. But if you do it by hand and you make a wrong mix, the whole job will be ruined. Mixing is the most important part of any epoxy job, aside from the preparation work. Hardener, I'm gonna put the hardener into the resin. This is more or less the activator that causes it to catalyze. It's important to use all of it in the bucket. Mixing is very important. You want to mix 3 minutes at a low speed. You mix too fast, you incorporate air into the epoxy, which can cause bubble. You proceed. Dump the product out and an even bead. Depending on how much experience you have, you may not want to mix such a large quantity. You could always do it in smaller mixes. Best type of squeegee to use is a hard rubber squeegee, 24 inches. You can also use the 18-inch. Two different kinds. This one happens to be 24 inches. And you really want to let the squeegee glide across the floor. You don't really need to put a lot of pressure on it. It spreads it at a rate of 10 mils. It's easier to do one side, pushing the material. The reason I'm doing this kind of at a higher rate of speed is because it is over 90 degrees. You have to work kind of fast with this, and these kind of temperatures. This, in this heat, will take about 6 to 8 hours. Normally, an epoxy in a climate-controlled room at about 76 to 78 takes about 10 to 12 hours. Before you start to roll, you want to get your roller wet with material.
Again, is it better to start in the front or you can start anywhere?
The only reason I'm gonna start here, I'm gonna work my way back here to come down is because it's so hot in front. So you can see the cooking stuff. The more advanced, the more you learn. You learn to use these. They're faster, not as hard on the back.
So the roller takes out all the excess, right?
Yes. It's best to use a 3/8 nap roller, lint free. Anything with a lint problem is going to stick to your floor.
This takes out all the holes from when you're walking on it?
What's that?
That takes out all the marks from when you walk on it with your shoes?
Well, normally, even when you walk on it, eventually they start to fill back into the self-flow. It just shows the marks at first, so that's freshly cut on it.
What happens if bugs or anything land on it?
I mean, there's nothing you can do. You have to, when it's dry, you just have to take a little razor and kind of scrape them out. But bugs will attract to it. It's just hard to keep them off. But if they don't get into the surface, they just land on top
I
of it.
can't get off.
So you can get them off.
Covered with bugs.
Chips.
This is the fun part.
What I'm doing here is adding the decorative flake as an accent that you add to the coating to give it a decorative look. And you basically throw it so it sticks in the coating. It's a lot harder than it looks.
It
Looks like I'm feeding the chickens.
Right.
But to get it evenly, you want to grab small amounts, small handfuls of it, and kind of flick your wrist so it spreads. Because if you grab a clump of it and throw it, it's going to be a glob on the floor.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That makes sense.
Sometimes you got to use the wind to your advantage,
Yeah, so it blows.
so it blows it. But it is.
It's looking good.
This really makes the job if you're going to throw chip.
Hides everything.
And it changes everything.
Yeah.
This guy here, he's the owner of the company. He's the man. He's the one that's responsible for your epoxy going down.
I'm getting the owner's special. Don't get better than that. We're owning it.
First of all.
Watch that though.
How long do
Like you're wearing a hard epoxy. I would, yes, that's, I mean.
Well, I got my warehouse.